One, two, hit it! Welcome to the Guestlist Network. I'm Joe LaGroove, and I'm here at Paramount, 32 Stories High, just about to interview Mr. C and talk about life in LA, his new album, and things to come in 2011. Hi, Richard. How you doing?
I'm doing great. A little bit jet-lagged, but other than that, fine.
Okay, so you had a nice flight back from LA?
Yes, just flew in this afternoon on the overnight on the red eye.
You've flown back to basically do your gig at Fabric tonight.
That's right, my debut gig at Fabric. Very exciting indeed. Looking forward to it.
That's what I mean. A lot of people actually they've asked the question why it's your debut now at Fabric. Can you
well, obviously, being one of the owners of The End and Fabric was a big competition between the two. Once we closed The End 2 years ago, obviously it freed me up to play wherever I wanted. But also I've been doing Superfreq, so when I do that on a monthly basis in London, there wouldn't be too much value in booking me at Fabric because they like a space either side of their gig, which I couldn't give. But I did the last Superfreq here in London on the first weekend of December, and the next one's not till our 9th anniversary on March 5th. So it left a 3-month gap, and middle of January is perfectly in the middle of that. So I spoke to Fabric and asked them if they wanted to get it on, and they was right up for it. So my debut appearance at Fabric tonight it shall be.
I just wanted to ask you about your influences as Richard West as a child. I mean, what did you listen to as a child? I mean, because that obviously maps out to who you are today and what the music that you're making.
I've always been into some sort of dance music or black music generally. As a really young kid, I used to like Elvis Presley and then ABBA. I was a big ABBA fan. I still love ABBA. It's like my guilty pleasure. But from 13 onwards, I was into basically soul, funk, disco, ska, reggae. Generally black music, and then house music was for me is an evolution of electro and disco, which is what I was into. I was into the whole robot dancing and then body popping after that.
You're currently working on a new album called Smell the Coffee. Can you tell us about what the concept is behind that? Because it's not your first album.
It's not my first album. It's actually only my second Mr. C album. I was signed to the Shamen as Mr. C for many years and couldn't do work as Mr. C. So I didn't actually release my first Mr. C single until '98. My last album was 8 years ago. That was called Change. This album, Smell the Coffee, I thought it was time for another Mr. C album, so I've gone for something. It's social, it's political, it's spiritual. The title "Smell the Coffee" comes from the attitude behind the album. It really is saying to people, come on, wake up. We've got, 2012 is around the corner. We've got to spiritually evolve. Politically, the ravers are stuck in a bubble and don't even vote, don't know what's going on. And if we don't voice our opinions and our point of view, we're not going to be able to change anything. So it's a little poke in the eye of a lot of the rave community saying, come on, get a grip. See what's going on around the world. So it's all about waking up as humans spiritually, waking up as a rave community to be able to make a difference in politics.
Sky's the limit and you know that you can have what you want, be who you want. Sky's the limit and you know that you just keep on pressing on. Sky's the limit and you know that you can have what you want, be who you want. Sky's the limit and you know that you just keep on pressing on. Sky's the limit and you know that you can have what you want, be who you want.
What other productions work have you got in the pipeline? Because I know you're quite busy at the moment.
Yeah, I've been pretty busy, yeah. I've got a track coming out with Appendix Shuffle. That's called Something Strange, and it's a very deep, melancholic track, and me doing a vocal about weird and strange things that happen in clubs. It's quite funny. I'm also working on another EP as a Sycophant Slags with Adult Napper. Hopefully that will be out late spring. And also doing a bit of remixing. I'm doing a remix with Omid 16B of a track off the Adult Napper album. So quite busy doing other production stuff as well as the album.
I mean, a lot of people, they don't actually know that you've been studying method acting. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yes, I studied method acting, very hardcore as well. It's called The Spiritual Psychology of Acting, with a company called Miracle Tree Productions. The guy there is called John Osborne Hughes. He's a genius. And I did 6 years of study on a weekly basis. So it's quite hardcore what I've done, and it's pretty much psychology, and it's also been like self-therapy. It's helped me deal with my ego issues, because I've got an ego the size of a bus.
Got any forthcoming projects that we, you know?
Actually, yes, I do. I've got 2 films that I've landed roles for, both British. The first one just goes into pre-production this week. So pre-production is usually about 3 months. So I'd imagine April or May for shooting. Yeah. It's exciting. I'm going to be a gangster. There's a surprise. So basically I'm going to be a London mafia boss's enforcer for that one. The second film, they're aiming at shooting in the summer. It's a much bigger budget. They're both decent budgets, but the second one's got a much bigger budget, and I'm actually going to play the devil. So I'm really excited about that. It's a good role. If you pull off the devil, then I think you're pretty much made.
I just want to take it back to music a little bit. I mean, I've always known you for years that you generally don't touch CDs, not unless you have to touch CDs. I mean, you're a vinyl man. What are your views?
Well, I still play vinyl. I do play my own tracks off CD, or I might squeeze in a couple of Adult Nappers tracks, or in my best friends, you know, if they like got something, then I'll work that into a set. But 95% of my set will be vinyl. There's 2 reasons for it. One is the interaction that you get with the crowd. It's that hands-on thing. You're not standing there looking into a laptop, looking like you're doing your emails, or, you know. So that's a good thing. You're really interacting with the crowd. And there's something sexy about whacking out a slab of vinyl from your record box and throwing it on a turntable and mixing it in. You know, like sitting there looking into a laptop doesn't look hot. You know, so that's definitely one part of it for me. Secondly, it's sound. You know, a lot of people argue about these sound issues, but the needle is a microphone, and when the needle touches that piece of material, which we call vinyl, it gives a certain feedback that gives a thickness and a warmth to the sound that you just can't duplicate digitally.
Cool. So, all right. So, what about Superfreq? I mean, that's your party, but you've now taken that globally.
Yeah. I mean, I've been sort of pushing it around Europe for a while. We celebrate our 9th anniversary on March 5th, and yeah, it's going global. I did 5 seasons in Ibiza already. I didn't do it last season, but the season before that I was at Blue. I did a couple of seasons at DC10, and I did 3 seasons at Club Underground. And I've been doing France for over 3 years now in Calais with Low. But now I've moved over to the Americas. I wanted to take it there. I've already done 4 tours of South America, and I've been working now doing regular parties in Ecuador with Global Unity Movement. Now I'm in America. I've started Super Disco Freak, which I do on a school night. It's a Tuesday night thing. We just play loads of old disco, which is a lot of fun. I'm doing Superfreq monthly in LA, as well as monthly here in London and monthly in Calais. I'm doing quarterly in San Francisco, starts in March, quarterly in New York, Washington DC and Chicago. I'm doing quarterly in England in Southampton at the Junk Club, and I've just started a new bi-monthly in Moscow at Solyanka, and I'm negotiating quarterlies in Paris and Italy now. So hopefully we'll get those going in a little while. I'm doing a Superfreq tour of Australia in April and one-offs around the world. So it's becoming very much a global brand now. But you know, I couldn't move to America and not get involved. I'm a bit of a workaholic. I'd get bored if I wasn't doing anything, you know. So LA is my new home city, so I had to start there with a monthly, and I'm doing that at Avalon, which is the big super club there. But I use the upstairs room, Bardo, and the terrace. So it's got a cooler edge. I don't start till 2 o'clock in the morning and then go on till 8. So it's an after-hour situation.
Oh, cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, like a lot of the laws in LA are quite strange. They don't allow any alcohol after 2 a.m. and most clubs close at 3 or 4. So starting at 2 and going on till 8 is a proper after-hour situation. And that's what I wanted to do in LA. I didn't want to just come with like a regular club thing. So Yeah, Superfreaks, it's going from strength to strength. It's building organically, it's not being forced or hyped, and it's building nicely. I'm Mr. C, and you're logged on to the Guestlist Network.